Hi, it's Lee from colouringqueen.net and I want to welcome you to Colour by Number Sunday. So this is something new that I thought I'd try maybe once a month, just do a colour by number picture with you and have a bit of a catch up. Now I don't really have that many colour by number books, to be honest. I've got maybe 5 or 6 maybe, I think. That's probably enough, I think. So this picture I got from Sunlife Drawing from their Facebook page. They give out freebies and this was one that you could just download and colour in. And I've always sort of liked this book, but I don't actually own it, so I was pretty pleased that they had a picture that I could download, and I printed it out and I used my brand new HP printer on it, which printed out perfectly. So that's a bit of a relief, because last week I had so many printer problems I couldn't even print out the page, and so I had to cancel my Colour by Number Sunday and my Mandala Monday because I couldn't print out the pages and I had to go and get another cheap printer. So after years of Canon printers, I've switched over to HP because it was on special. Which is typical of me. So this one by Sunlife Drawing, it's a 2-page download. I only printed out the page that has the image on it to colour in. The first page has the legend of colours, and what I've done is I've turned my computer screen around so I can look at the legend of colours while I colour in. So you might see me occasionally just turn around to have a look at what the next colour is. But I've got to say, I find colour by number so relaxing, and that's why I thought it would be good to have on a Sunday night every now and again, just to kind of finish up the week with something non-thinking. Don't have to think about a colour palette, don't really have to do anything much. You can do as little or as much as you like. So I thought it'd be a good Sunday activity, and I've got about 6 or 7 books, so I think I've got enough to certainly do it. And also there are lovely little freebies that Creative Haven and Sunlife Drawing often have that you can download as a digital page, so I think they'll be fun to do. I don't know about you guys, but I actually like to colour in all of one number first and then I move on to the next colour. So I don't know if that's a little bit of OCD on my part, or I just don't like taking the caps off the markers and leaving them to dry out. So I'm just using my Crayola Super Tip washable markers. There's 20 in my pack, and I don't really have enough to match up the colour legend on this particular illustration, but I just thought I'd use other colours and substitute the colours for ones that might be close to or that would suit me. You don't have to always have the same colours with colour by number, as long as you're colouring it in the one number block. And what I never see people do, and I'm sure you can do it, is you could always go over this and add some blending if you want, or fill it in with Posca or acrylic paint, and you could always next level up these colour by number drawings. But to me, I just find them relaxing. You don't need to think about the colour palette, and I'm just using my Crayola markers there, and they're so easy to use and just so simple, and I'm not worried about using an expensive marker or whatnot. I'm not even worried if I get in or out of these lines, to be honest. It's just all about the meditative aspect of it and just the quiet time to just think and focus, which is why I like these things, because the colour choice is removed from you, so you can just focus on just adding the colour. So I will not be following their colour legend because I don't have all the colours. I'll be substituting, so it won't look like their picture if you see it, but that's okay, I'm fine with that. And I'm going to use maybe some of my Faber-Castells as well, those awful connector pens. They're not too bad on photocopy paper, which is just what I printed this out on, just normal copy paper. So I don't know how your week has been going, but here in Australia, in Brisbane, it is super humid. It is so wet and sweaty. And so this morning we decided that we'd take a bit of a dip in the pool, and geez, I'm glad we spent the money and got that pool resurfaced. It's the first time the neighbours have actually seen it being used, because apparently it was empty for over 10 years before we bought this house. So I guess it's nice that it's being used, but you know, at the time we were umming and ahhing whether to get this work done, but geez, I'm glad we did. So this morning we went in and it was so humid at 9 o'clock. I was sweating, and I hate sweating. I hate it. So we went in and had a dip in the pool, and I don't know what it is about that magnesium, but it's so relaxing that after we had the dip in the pool, we had to have a little lay down and have a little nana nap. I was so tired. I like you're swimming in sleeping pills, but afterwards your skin feels all nice and soft, and it's just lovely. So we had a dip in the pool, and I was enjoying just floating around. And for those of you that don't know, I can't swim. I've never had swimming lessons or whatnot, but since we've had the pool, David has shown me a little bit how to do freestyle or normal swimming stroke. I can, swim underwater, and that's what I've always done, is just go underwater. But can you believe this? I always swim underwater and I just move my arms. And David told me that you can use your legs as well. So after all of these years, and I won't tell you how many of them it is, I finally learnt to swim underwater and move my legs and go actually faster. So I can't believe I never knew that you could move your legs as well. But anyway, so he's been teaching me how to swim, and I don't go up to the deep end of the pool without my little noodle because I'm scared. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit better at the whole, lifting your arm and breathing thing, which I found all a bit confusing in the beginning. So maybe, I'll be up to doing a lap of the pool soon and learning how to, really swim properly. So I'm hoping that my technique improves a bit more and I can manage to do a whole lap of the pool, or maybe even two, you never know. I can do a lap underwater, but and now that I know that you can kick your legs as well, I'm just, the world is my oyster as far as the pool goes. But I just can't believe all my life I never knew that you meant to move your legs as well. I thought you just went underwater and moved your arms. So the things that I've been missing out on. But I've got lots of pool toys. I've got a giant swan, and David's brother bought like a giant bed, and then I've got two noodle things that form chairs and just one normal noodle thing that you can hold on to. So I've got lots of things to play with in there, but the pool water is just so relaxing with the magnesium in it that you get in there and you hold on to your noodle and you can basically just fall asleep. So I'm always trying to catch myself, to not do that, because I don't want to fall asleep in the pool. And it's all right when, David's there because he's a strong swimmer. But we also took my little dog Charlie in, and I know most of you see Millie, and she's the performer of the family, always in the videos and, sprawling all over everything. She's here on the desk at the moment, so you might see the camera shake a bit because she was playing with the tripod a minute ago, which is probably why it broke. But anyway, but Charlie is my little dog, and he's a Maltese Shih Tzu cross. He's 14 years old, and he's a little bit deaf, and he's got a few little eyesight problems, but he's the sweetest little dog in the entire world. He's just a little doll. And he loves the pool. Every time we used to go on holidays, he'd jump into the pool and want to play. So we put his little sun vest thing on. He's got a little jacket that's got sun protection in it because he's white. We don't want him to get burnt and from the sun. It's just like a sunscreen or zinc protection thing that's inbuilt into it. And it's meant to last like 70 odd washes. So he had his little sun vest on and he was in the pool, but we don't let him go in by himself. We're a bit overprotective. So we sort of hold him and he does his little dog paddle. And he probably thinks that he's doing it all by himself, but actually either David or I are holding him, and he has his little paddle about, and then we put him out. But he had such a good time, going around and paddling away. I'll just zoom you in a little bit more so that you can see this. The actual colour by number numbers on this, they're a really light grey, and they're not very easy to see, especially if you're a little bit blind as a bat like I am without my glasses on. And so what I did was when I put the colour legend on the computer, and I've got it on the side, I actually zoomed it up so I could see the little numbers a lot easier on the digital copy. So if that was a physical copy, I'd have to get my magnifying lamp out because they're a really faint light grey. And these are Crayola washable markers. They go on really well on just photocopy paper. They're super easy to use and they're so nice and inexpensive too, which is great. Yeah, so what was I saying? So Charlie went for his dip in the pool and he had such a good time, and he feels so grown up, I think, because he gets to come to the pool and have a little swim, and Millie, my cat, doesn't. She gets to own the house upstairs. And so he had a good time and explored the pool area, and then he came in for another little dip, and yeah, he had a great time. So might let him go in the pool, a few more times over summer, but as long as one of us is there. So I'm ordering him up I meant to get it before Christmas, but I don't know. I never seem to get through my to-do list. David tells me I write too much on it, but I don't know. I don't know where time goes sometimes. I feel like I black out half the day. But anyway, I'm going to get him a flotation collar, because you can get flotation vests for dogs, but the problem with those is if the dog gets tired, their head can drop below the water, whereas with the flotation collar, no matter what happens, their head's above water. But you've got to get proper measurements, etc. And there's only one or two places in this area that sell them online, so I need to get him properly measured up and order that, and that'll probably take a week or so. But seeing as it's so hot here, we might have another month or more of the pool where he can use it, so I think it's probably still worth getting for this summer. And it's just peace of mind knowing that if he's in the pool, he's got his little sun jacket on, and a sun protection jacket, I should say, and that he's got his little flotation collar, so that if we got distracted, that he's still safe. Hopefully that would never happen, but the way life is, sometimes just you turn away for 2 seconds, and sometimes your whole life changes. So I'd hate for something to happen to Charlie if I got distracted. And yeah, so anyway, I'll get him that little flotation collar, and then he should be all set for pool fun. But even because Maltese Terriers, they don't have fur, they have hair, and the magnesium from the pool is actually making his hair a lot softer as well. And he's a lot easier to brush, and because he's half Shih Tzu, he's like a curly little sheepdog when he comes out of the pool, and then you brush out the curls, and it's really lovely and soft. So I think he's enjoying the magnesium as much as Mum and Dad. I'd like to get Millie into the pool and see if I could soften up some of those knots in her coat. So I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Millie hates being groomed, and I'm sure I've told you that, and you've seen the scratch marks on me from that. And that's the way they advertised her, that she hates being groomed. I call her Zorro because of the way she attacks me. But she's getting so many little knots on her that she won't let me get out. So I've ordered up this brush for her, a dematting brush, and I'm really hoping that it's going to work, because otherwise David's got one of those pet shavers and he's threatening to shave her, which I know you can get line cuts for long hair cats, but I don't think that she would like that, and I pity the poor groomer that tried to cut her, because she really is a little Zorro. She really hates being groomed. So I'm hoping that this brush, when I get it, if I just use it a few times, throughout the day, just for a few minutes, not to upset her, that we can get out some of these tangles out of her, because she's too pretty, to have all these little knots. So we've got a couple of colours done here already. We've got the greens, the oranges and the yellow-orange. It is hard to see these numbers on here, so I do have to keep referring to the computer screen, because they're very light grey, which is great because it means that when you put the marker over it, you don't see the number anymore, but just seeing it in the first place is a bit of a challenge for me. And I really liked this colour by number pictures because it's a mosaic. And I don't know whether I've mentioned before, but years ago, before I broke my wrist, I used to make mosaics. That was my hobby, and I absolutely loved it. I have, my own tile cutter and tile nips and all the rest of it, and I used to go to tile shops and either buy tiles or get the broken ones from them, and I'd shape them and create all sorts of murals and things like that. But my favourite thing to make was always outdoor tables, and so I used to cut up marine ply into round circles and just cut like 5 at a time, and then I'd cover them with like daisies. They were kind of my favourite flower to make outdoor tables with, or an abstracty type design. And so I'd be using glass tiles and ceramics or porcelain or stone, whatever I could find, or whatever tile shops gave me, or sometimes I'd buy a few just to finish the design. And it was just something that I absolutely adored doing. And then when I broke my wrist, I wasn't able to use the tile nippers to cut the tiles into the shapes that I liked. And so I kind of put the hobby aside. Now, I know a lot of people like to use just general breaking things and make the designs that way, but I always like to sort of shape out the design and mosaic it. And there was a time that I actually took up, ceramic painting. And I actually painted unglazed tiles and hand painted the design or a scene onto them, and then took them over and got them fired in a kiln and used them in my mosaics or murals or whatnot. So I was really into it, ceramic painting, firing it up, and doing the whole mosaics. And I think in storage I've got like 20 pairs of legs to go on tables, because there used to be an auction house around the corner from us, and they had all these legs for tables on sale there one day. I think I got the 20 pairs of legs for like $20, so I couldn't pass that up. And the amount of these tables I used to make was just unbelievable. Everyone I know had a table because I used to just like making them. It was just so relaxing. And when I seen this picture from Sunlife, it really reminded me of making all of those mosaics. And I used to make stepping stones out of concrete and pebbles and, all of that sort of stuff. I remember one day David was working on a building that was being demolished in Sydney, and they'd had one of those. They had one of those old-fashioned. Sorry, I had to have a sip of water. They had one of those old-fashioned filing cabinets that architects use to put their plans, etc., in, a big plan drawer that they were throwing out. And David gave the forklift driver, or one of the guys on site, I can't remember who now, a case of beer if he loaded up the filing cabinet and gave it to us, rather than they were binning all of those things. And so I used to store my tabletops in them, and I've still got them, but they're all in storage. And so it was really good because it had like 10 drawers in it, so you could fit like 10 tabletops in it, and some smaller things like picture frames and all the rest of it. So I can't wait until one day we can get that up here, and maybe by then I'll have been brave enough to get my wrist rebroken and get the pin put in it, and hopefully that will all be successful, and I'll be able to, take that hobby back up again. Well, that's the plan, but as some of you know, I've got an anxiety disorder that's sort of centred around medical things, so me going in to get surgery and getting a pin, inserted is kind of a low priority for me, only because my fear outweighs my need to get the surgery. But, maybe one day I'll get brave enough. But it would be good to get back into that hobby, because I could certainly got the space now to actually decorate the garden with some things. And it's also nice, working with another medium every now and again. And at the time when I used to do mosaics, I had this really stressful job. Oh God, it was awful. Can't tell you how awful my job was. And it was one of the reasons that I ended up taking up colouring. And with this job, it was just so great to come home and smash some stuff, whether it be, tiles or plates or, whatnot, but just to come home and break stuff, just to get out some of that built-up frustration and anger. So, yeah, it's always nice, I think, to have a hobby that takes you away. So colouring takes me away in a different way. It makes me calmer and more relaxed. But mosaics just, got out all of those frustrations that might have been building up through the day. I remember once when I was working, and I think I had the flu or something, and I was home, and I just spent like a whole day just making mosaics and playing with tile glue, and it was just the best sick day ever, to be honest. And that was what I used to look forward to, because back then David used to work on a Saturday, and while he was at work, I'd, sit there and make one of my tabletops or something like that. And it was what I looked forward to all week, was just to get there and get all set up and just start smashing stuff or breaking stuff or just having tiles go everywhere. But it is a hobby that's, you can injure yourself in. I wasn't wearing my safety glasses once, and I got a little bit of glass tile flick up just below my eye, So I've got like a little scar just below my eye where I had to pull out a shard of glass tile from just just below my eye, just where your skin changes. So that wasn't good, and it did leave a scar and a mark on there, which is a lesson to make sure you wear your safety glasses. But the thing is, they always used to fog up, so I used to take them off, but you know, sometimes you just got to live with them fogging up, I guess. So I like the colours that they've selected for this little image here. I'm not sure what it's meant to be, but it's quite cute. And yes, you'll see Millie, come on. Millie, sweetheart, I can't colour around you. God, I know. You want to sit there. It's your picture. Yes, you're beautiful. You are beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry, I've learnt to colour around the cat, so I hope you guys can still see Millie. Still see enough of the picture to see what I'm doing. If not, you can enjoy, looking at Her Royal Highness. She needs to get her eyes cleaned. And she looks so sweet here, rolling around and looking adorable. It's hard to believe that it's the same cat that just attacks me and shreds me when I try and brush her. It's just unbelievable that she can just look so adorable. She's a true performer. Yeah, so I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Oh, with the mosaics, I used to also make bird baths as well. And that was good because you could make them out of anything old that you've found. And so one that I made that's in the garden in our house in Sydney that we used to have, it was just made out from some old plumbing pipe and one of those old enamel bowls that had a hole in it. And they were just things that I'd found on clean-up day or around the house. So it's really good that you can reuse things, which is what I like doing. You don't want to buy everything new. So I'm hoping that I'll find something around here that I can make into a little bird bath for the birds, because since we've got the pool done, the birds have kind of lost their giant bird bath that they had. And some of them are trying to dive into the pool and they get a bit scared because now it's got all the water in it. When they used to play in it before, it was only just, water it depending on the rain and whatnot that was in it, not sort of a full pool. So some of them are getting a bit frightened and they want to come in and they sort of soar over it, then get a bit scared and sort of pull up. A couple of the little willy wagtails, they just sit on the edge between the spa and the pool and get their feet wet, and you can see that they want to go in, but they're like, maybe not. So I think I'll make them a little bird bath so that they have somewhere that they feel safe enough to have a little bath. Like the one that I made previously, I'll just get some, look around the house for some old pipes or whatnot. And the good thing about David working in construction is that usually I can give him a shopping list, and if he's on some sort of job site, then he can, have a look around in the stuff that they're throwing out and find something that I might be able to reuse and upcycle into something else. He brought me home some metal tiered shelf thing the other day that they were throwing out at his work. I'm still not sure what I'm meant to do with that, but I'll give it some thought. I'm thinking maybe a plant stand or something. And it's not that I'm a closet hippie or anything like that. It's just that, maybe I am a bit, growing my own vegetables and upcycling, but I've always enjoyed that sort of stuff, and I've always enjoyed reusing things or looking at something else that I can make with it or do with it. And I think it's more that I'm from a farm originally, and that's what you did on a farm. There were no shops really to go and buy stuff, and you just made your own sort of amusement and used stuff that was lying around. So, and plus we didn't have a lot when I was growing up, and you sort of made your own fun, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with, and I enjoy doing it. Plus nowadays it's nice not to just throw everything away, it's nice to give it another use. So hopefully I'll find something that can make a little bird bath for the birdies, and they won't have to risk their lives soaring over the pool. Maybe I should make something for Millie to have a little bath in, but I don't think she'd like that. Would you, Mill? She is such a performer. As soon as she hears that camera go on, if she's having a nap or whatnot, she will saunter in and go straight for the camera. Like, the desk here is L-shaped, so she could go the other side and go straight to her cubby house and sit in there, but she doesn't. She wants to be straight under the film, and if she's not under the camera or on the camera, she's always nibbling at the tripod or something like that. She's a little performer. I'm worried that one day I'll colour her in with texture. Maybe add some highlights to her, touch up that grey a bit. Maybe add a bit of cool grey there, give her a bit of blue eyeshadow. See what she likes. No, she says no. She's not going to move for me, so I'm just going to have to work around her. And I know some of you hate it when she lays across my colouring pages, but really, when she gives me affection, I'm kind of here to take it. And I've gotten very used to just colouring around her now. So I hope you guys don't mind. And I've also got the fan on today. It's so humid. I've just got it on low, so I hope that's not coming through and disturbing the audio. The problem with this set of Crayolas is that it doesn't have that many browns in it, so I may have to get a brown from the Faber-Castell set. So I don't know, what's everyone doing today? Other than going for the swim and doing this and doing a little bit of gardening. And this is basically all I'm doing. I don't know where the day goes, but I swear time just goes so fast. So I hope I'm keeping you company if you're, lying in bed or cleaning or just got me on in the background. Maybe you're colouring as well, or diamond painting or journaling. There's so many things to do. I tend to put a lot of YouTube videos on, whether they're live or recorded, and I put them on when I'm cleaning the house. And so many people keep me company. And then because I'm cleaning, I often don't get a chance to come in and like the video or leave a comment because it's gone on to the next video. It just automatically goes through and plays all these videos. So there's all these people out there that I owe a comment or a like to, but I always miss the video when I've got it on when I'm cleaning. The good thing about this house is that it's really small, so it's pretty easy to clean. And it's got no nooks or crannies because it's kind of really just a square. So it's a lot easier to clean than our previous house, and it's a lot quicker to clean. And so I find if I turn the computer on and put YouTube on, because the colouring cave is opposite the bathroom, I can hear everything from the bathroom, and so I can go in and clean the bathroom. And sometimes I've had a shower with you guys because I can have the door open if I'm here by myself and still hear the whole stream or whatnot from the shower. Or usually I just clean the bathroom, and I can sweep and whatnot while still hearing the whole YouTube stream, unless people talk quietly, which is no good for me. Or if I need to use the vacuum cleaner, then I'll have to pause the colorist that's on just so I can vacuum up some of Princess's hair, which is the usual. So this afternoon we're going to plant some plants, and we've had these plants, some of them in the pot, for months now, and every time we go to plant them we run out of time to dig the hole and put the plant in, or it starts raining, or it's just too hot, or we've got something else to do. So I really hope today is the day that these poor plants get to live in the ground, because they've certainly been out in the heat for long enough. I've got a couple of canna lilies there which are beautiful. They've got a nice yellow flower on them at the moment, so I'm hoping that we get those in the ground. I've got some passion fruit that have been in the pot longer than I've had hot breakfasts. I think they'll start bearing fruit soon because they've been in there for that long. And I've been moving a few of my plants around today that looked sad, so when they look sad I just move them, and so I'm hoping they'll like their new home better. I'm also going to look up for some recipes online. This white butterfly that keeps eating my plants and leaving holes in some of them, so I'll look up an organic recipe for a bug repellent or pest repellent, I don't know what you call it, but I seen one once and I can't remember where I put the recipe in. It had chili and garlic, which I've got both of those things here, but it had something else in it as well. And you meant to spray the leaves of the plant, and that will repel this white butterfly that eats the leaves and leaves holes everywhere. So I'm hoping I'll find that recipe and give that a whirl, and hopefully the plants will like it. Because I want to get all these plants in and organised, because we're going to have huge rains this week and huge storms again. So I want everyone to benefit from the big watering that Mother Nature is about to unload on her. So hopefully we will actually get those in. So I don't know what we've got planned for this week. I think I'm going to bite the bullet and start looking for a job again. I've had like a week or so that I haven't looked as seriously for a job, mainly because it was just so disheartening that I just thought, for my sanity, I better take a week off from this before I go completely mad and get really upset and all the rest of it. So I've casually looked for a job, but I think this week I'll actually look and apply for some jobs if I can find anything that suits my qualifications and is close to home and suits all my variables that I have. And, if I didn't have all these variables, I probably would have had a job by now, but, life is not always easy, and I'd miss Millie. No, Mill, you stay there. No, you stay over there. No, you stay there and let Mummy colour the flower. It's almost as pretty as you, sweetheart. Almost. Almost as pretty. You have a sleep. Go play with the texture. Yeah. It's very hard colouring around a cat. But so worthwhile. I mean, look at that face. You're a beautiful little girl. I'm so glad we rescued her and didn't get the kitten that I originally wanted. Because Charlie loves having her, and she seems to really like being queen of the manor and lording it all over him. And she certainly is a performer. She certainly made herself at home. And you know, a kitten might be too boisterous for Charlie, who's 14. I think we did the right thing getting her, and plus, you know, saving her, because she'd been at the shelter for quite a while. The whole not liking being groomed was a bit of a turn off. But, you know, I've got lots of band-aids, so it's all good. And she's such a, you know, she's such a lovely cat if it wasn't for the hatred of being brushed, which, you know, I'm hoping a little bit a day and she'll get used to it. She loves her face being brushed and she'll take that all day, so I have to always brush her face first, and then sometimes I push my luck and try and, you know, get a knot out or brush her, and I have to always keep going back to the face and brushing her forehead because she really loves that. So we're not far to go on this picture. We've just got that dark brown, and I've had to use the Faber-Castells on this just to get a different colour brown. I could imagine this with like a black background, and I've got a feeling they might sell this book with the black background as well, but it just reminds me so much of the mosaics that I used to do that I had to colour it and, you know, just see what it would look like. And plus it was free, so super bargain. And I got to test out the new printer to see if it worked properly, so that's always good. And I don't know about you guys, but I always manage to miss out a colour when I do colour by number. And when I'm colouring in a picture, I always manage to miss something, like someone's fingers or something. So there will be things that I'll probably have to go back and look at because I've probably missed putting the colour in. And Millie's giving me a little bit of a fan here while I look for the pencil. So using the Faber-Castell markers here as well, because I didn't have a mid-range blue in the Crayolas. I've only got 20 in the pack. I think they have a bigger set, but that's all I've got. So you just make do with what markers that you have. And the good thing is you can just change these colour by numbers. They're not set in stone. So this one I don't have the red-brown that it's meant to be. So I'm just using the Crayola red. It doesn't matter as long as all the number is the one colour. And that's the good thing is you can look at the palette and go, well, I don't really like those colours, so I'm going to change it up to these. And because the numbers are already there, as long as you follow that system, you're fine. And I've never seen anyone go back through it and maybe add a bit of shading with pencil or whatnot, but you could always do that, or touch it up with paint or add in some glitter. You could do whatever you want. But I figure for this, it's just a little fun picture to end the week off. And I'm using the Faber-Castell red here because I used the Crayola red on the branch because I didn't have the red brown. So I'm just changing up the reds. And I don't really like these Faber-Castell connector pens or connector markers. I do like their kit pens, but they're very expensive. But these are cheap markers. I've used them before and I didn't really like them in the book that I was using. They felt very scratchy and very unpleasant. But on this photocopy paper, they're fine, and I figure once I use them up and finish with them, I won't buy them again because they're just not my favourite marker at all. But on this copy paper today, they're working fine and certainly good enough for this little digital download. But I think if I was buying the cheaper markers again, I'd just buy the Crayola. And actually, I must look up and see if you can get those in a bigger packet. Millie, do you want to move your tail? Okay, I'll colour around you. But yeah, so we're nearly done. Just got the couple of flowers here to do. And it's nearly done. And I've got to say, it is so relaxing. Just zoning out, talking to you guys and telling you about my day. And I hope you tell me about what you're doing today or tonight or whenever you're watching or listening, as the case may be. But it's just, yeah, so nice and relaxing. It's like a magnesium pool for colouring. Plus, I get to use up some of these Faber-Castell markers that I want to use up before I get rid of them. Well, I want to keep using them and then I won't buy them again. I won't buy a replacement. So there we have it. We're all done. Millie helped with the last part of it and she's still helping now. So there we have it. Until next time, happy colouring.